All right. Let's see if it all works out there for the good there. All right. What's up, everybody? Prince Idol, Arknolia Choco Bean, and yours truly, Dr. Earl here. And we're trying to get YR onto the call here. And tonight we're going to be looking at wrestling's greatest factions. And believe me, there's a
Hey,
whole
Adam,
lot
he's
of
in
them.
there.
What's up?
He's in here.
He's here?
He's in here.
He's here?
Yeah.
Sean? Oh, yeah, definitely get him on the call there. We're also trying to get Sean's Your Entertainment on the call here with
You see him
us.
there? Oh, you hang up. He just left.
What?
He
Try it
just
again.
left.
He just left. All right, try it again. See if you can, man. All right, there. We're trying to get Sean's You Entertainment on the call here. I expressed an interest in having him in part of this discussion here. And let's see here. Let me get some out of the way here. We're
He
also.
keeps leaving.
What's up?
He keeps leaving. He was
I don't,
just in here, Earl.
I don't know what the heck, man. I don't know why
Here he is
he's.
right there. Sean,
I don't,
Sean,
I don't see him.
that you.
I don't see him on the screen here, unfortunately. Sean? I don't see him.
It says unavailable.
What the hell, man? Somebody right here. I don't know what the heck it is. Keep trying if you can there. I did extend. I don't know if he is. Let me see if I can add the guy myself there. Because I like to get his perspective but just as well there.
It's Sean's View Entertainment.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm calling that right now. Okay, so. Like I said, we're also trying to get YR onto the call there. And see if he's available. So I guess if it's not, we'll just probably have to be us three for this discussion here. Try this one more time. If not, it'll be, like I said, be us three there. All right. Give us a couple of minutes here. It's because I know every time I come into the chat and say hi, he always gives me the acknowledgement. Say we got Dr. Earl W. Brown in the chat here. Give it up to Dr. Earl for holding down the mod, job there that he has here. I figure I'd be kind enough to welcome him on my channel here. All right, so tonight, as we said, we're going to be looking at the greatest factions in professional wrestling history there. And I guess we'll have to. I'm thinking about possibly a one-on-one, a panel there. Like this person takes his turn, that person takes his turn there. All right. How about, does that sound good, guys?
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good there. And who wants to go first? Me,
Uh,
Prince. Okay.
I think if we're going to start this, we need to start with possibly the greatest faction of all, in my mind anyway.
Yeah.
And Prince mentioned them, the Four Horsemen.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
now,
Yes, sir.
now, we talking about the original Four Horsemen.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, was Ole and Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and of course the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Now, keep in mind there have been a lot of other versions of the Four Horsemen. The last of being Ric Flair, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, and Steve Mongol McMichael. And but a lot of people are saying, that wasn't really the Horsemen that we know and love very dearly because around that time, during the last years of WCW.
There was a one. There was one member of it. Lex Luthor was part of it too.
That's
Yep.
right, yeah, as well as Barry Windham as well. And I think
For a
Sting
little
was.
while, Sting. Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say Sting was a part of that faction for a while there, and around that time they were the baby faces, and the Horsemen were considered the top heels of the NWA. Oh, sorry, there NWA and WCW there. So it's kind
Yeah.
of so in a way it's kind of odd to see the Horsemen be brought in as the baby faces, knowing the dastardly deeds that they have been known to do.
Oh, and they were dastardly.
Very dastardly. Like one time they had Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, up against an automobile, against the side of his truck or car, I think, and apparently they slammed the door and went on his fingers there when it was actually, we all know it really wasn't his fingers, but it was made to look like they actually did that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So who would be your favorite member out of the Four Horsemen? I'm gonna go first. Rick. I
yeah,
love Rick.
I know.
Woo!
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ric Flair. Ric Flair had that flair for the Horsemen. I mean, the promos he gave during his stint during those years were like phenomenal. I mean, like, of course, we all know the one that still stands out all the rest. You know, the jet flying son of a gun that he gave that one time there.
No, 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 no. It's jet flying. No, my bad.
Yeah,
Wheeling dealing, jet flying, limousine riding, kiss stealing, one son of a gun. That's how you say
yeah.
that.
That's it's been a while since I heard that promo there, so you gotta forgive me for that one there, guys.
Well, you guys do know that Ric Flair was kind of introduced back in the Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling
Hmm.
as part of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew,
Mm.
which was Gene Anderson and Ole Anderson at the time,
Ah.
and that kind of evolved later into the Horsemen.
Exactly. And then Gene Anderson. Now, when did Ole came into play there? Because I remember NWA, when it's watching NWA wrestling, him and Arn were considered the Minnesota Wrecking Crew there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this was the beginnings,
I see there, which
and
is years
Gene,
before.
you know, eventually retired, and this was the 70s on this one.
I see there, yeah. And of course, the Andersons regarded as probably one of the big, big guys in the pro wrestling history. I mean, like Ole Anderson had later on did some behind the scenes work with WCW there. Eventually, had to retire from the ring because of a neck injury that he suffered. No doubt about that. And of course, he went alongside his buddy Ric Flair there to the WWE, where he was like by his side all the time when Flair was considered the co-owner of that company there for that brief
Hmm?
short while there. And right now, I guess Flair and Ole, I guess Arn don't really talk that much no more. Let alone be with Tully and Ole. Ole Anderson had, unfortunately, he was not invited to when the Horseman was abducted into the WWE Hall of Fame because apparently there was some issues between Ole and Vince McMahon, so they had to go with another Horseman, Barry Windham.
Barry.
Yeah,
Now we need to mention too that for a long time they were managed by J.J. Dillon.
that's right there. Who later
Yeah.
also became one of the executives at WCW just as well there. Remember, many of the wrestlers within that company also worked hard behind the scenes. Ric Flair did some booking. Kevin Nash did some booking. You did a lot of behind the stuff work there. In fact, you may remember Raven from ECW and WCW. He was like a producer for the WWE for a while there.
Yeah.
All right, there. All right, so my next one here it would be, of course, what I would call the Sex Pistols of professional wrestling, the NWO. And we all know the story how that came about. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, who just left the WWF, as was known at the time, it just came back to WCW. Remember, Nash was known as Oz, and then later Vinny Vegas. Scott Hall, rest in peace, was the Diamond Stud, and of course he came back later on as, of course, his real name, Scott Hall. They came in making threats against the WCW roster there. At one point, a whole bunch of security guards and policemen stormed into the ring to protect the wrestlers inside the ring. When Hall and Nash came out there with baseball bats in their hands, they said there was going to be a third man into the take down WCW, and that third man would eventually be Hulk Hogan, the biggest babyface, the biggest all-American hero there was. But at the same time, Hulkamania was completely dead at that point. This was a different decade, The training, say your prayers, to take your vitamins was all a joke now. And now at that time, the vitamins people think it was referred to was the steroids, because a couple of years earlier he claimed he did not do any steroids when it was revealed that he actually did. So a lot of people were pissed off about that. I mean, the days of the good guys versus the bad guys were just about dead at this moment. It was like every man for itself. And Hogan realized it, that Hulkamania was dead, so he even suggested to Bischoff when he first pitched idea, have you found a third man yet for these two guys? No, not yet. I think the third man should be me. And Bischoff was
Hmm.
happy as hell over that, and basically when it became revealed revelation when Hulk Hogan was the third man, everybody was shocked. I mean, I saw the reaction from the crowd throwing shit into the ring there. It's like, unbelievable. I saw it on one of the TVs at a nightclub called Lipsticks in Clinton Township, Michigan, and I was like, holy shit, man, Hulk Hogan just turned to the dark side. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it was a pay-per-view, but I forget which one.
It was a bash, I believe it was Bash at the Beach. Bash at the Beach, 1996. And soon afterwards, Hulk Hogan started wearing black instead of the red and yellow.
The NWO was a great idea. The only problem was down the road, they got carried away with it, and it went way out of control.
Well, that was
And
Yeah.
Bischoff's idea. The idea was, as he said, keep the momentum going. Keep recruiting new members, having a big ass faction, whether it's Scott Steiner, whether it's Stevie Ray, whether it's what's that guy's name? What's his nephew then? Horace Hogan, I think it was. Like Scott Norton or Scott Morgan, whatever his name is, Scott
yeah,
Norton. I think it was that. Let's have Buff Marcus Alexander Bagwell become Buff Bagwell, a name that still sticks with him to this very day there. And I guess, everybody else. He even had a Rick Rude. He just came in. It's kind of, we all know what happened with the situation with him. I mean, he was on Raw and WCW Monday Nitro at the same night. As we mentioned, Raw that night was taped a couple of weeks prior to the, I guess it was a couple of days prior to the Montreal Screwjob taking place. He was pissed off when that happened. He contacted Bischoff and say, hey, you want me to come in to work for you guys? Bischoff said, yep, come on right in. I mean, like, a lot of people were pissed off. So on that same night, we saw Rick Rude twice on the same night there. And during when he arrived at the NWO on that Monday night after the screw job was done, he did say some things regarding to what the WWF and Vince McMahon did to Bret Hart there. So everybody was up in arms over what happened that particular night, including WCW.
yeah,
And that was another great faction with Bret Hart, Owen Hart,
Hmm.
uh, Jim Anvil Neidhart, and the British Bulldog, and I think Brian Pillman, right?
Yes,
Hart
yeah,
Foundation.
the Hart
the Hart
Foundation.
Foundation. Yeah,
Yes, there was the second Hart Foundation. The original was Jimmy Hart, the manager, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Jim the Anvil Nine Hart.
But then
Because
it grew with Brian Pillman and the British Bulldog and Owen, and yeah,
yep,
those are the members.
that's right. And sadly, Bret Hart is the only one of that faction to still be on
That's
this
still up.
planet Earth. Yeah, which is unfortunate there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So we got to give credit to that. All right, Prince, you ready? Was that your pick for the next faction?
No, oh yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's your
I
turn
guess.
now, dude.
Well, I'll give you another faction then.
Good, good.
Not many people like this faction, but I love them, and to me, it's one of the factions that got me in trouble when I was a kid, and that's D Generation X.
Oh man.
You know what I
Was
mean,
it the
man?
original with the Triple H and Shawn Michaels, or the five-man unit with the New Age Outlaws, X Pac, and China?
The original one with China,
Hmm.
Shawn, and Hunt and Triple H. The original one.
Yeah, that's right. Hmm.
They were a good faction. They really were.
Yeah. Because remember,
Revolutionary, revolutionary. What they
yeah,
did.
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff there. Well, of course, that was Vince Russo's writing, putting that into the works there. The idea was to give us some shot, to get ratings, to get people talking about it. And yeah, they did some crazy shit back then, no doubt about that. Now, when the Generation X came back in the early 2000s, during the
Mhm.
ruthless aggression era, they did the same shit once again. Only difference is, it was of course about China. She was let go prior to all that happening there. But they come up with some crazy ass stuff there, going after Vince McMahon there.
Again,
Yep,
because they always target Vince McMahon. They always target him.
I know they did there. I mean, like probably the biggest one was this thing where Triple H was saying it's all with secret. You hate animals. You hate animals, definitely. And Vince is like, I like animals. I love animals. Like you hate dogs. I love dogs. You hate cats. I love cats. You hate horses. I love horses. You hate you hate chickens. I hate chickens. You hate roosters. I love roosters. You hate cocks. I love cocks. Because I just see the joke there because roosters are often referred to that name at times there in the past. Of course, so one of the segments was Vince McMahon walking into his office, seeing a whole bunch of roosters slash cocks in cages and throughout the whole office. In
That
fact,
man, I love
In fact, at one point, he even broke him down. One segment opened up with a Vince McMahon inside the ring with a disgruntled look on his face going, And in fact, William Regal and somebody else tried to get him up. So the show's about to start. You got to move. And Triple H comes out saying, Hey, Liberace, let me take over there. They tried to get him to move. I'll be the better man. And we know the rest of that segment goes, how that went there. It's on YouTube for you to check out there. I mean, I kind of miss the babyface Triple H because he sure was funny as heck at times there.
Yes, he was.
Yes, and much credit to Triple H. I mean, like, he's a damn good worker. I mean, he still works to this day. He's now a head of creativity in the WWE. And a lot of people are saying that the current era that it's in now is doing a lot better than the era that it was previously.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, there. Arknolia, I believe you are next.
I'm going to go with the tag team, but but they were around a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the same two guys pretty much the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock and Roll Express.
I knew. I kind of figured it was those guys, and you're right. They're still together. They're still part of the current NWA roster. There, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. Like,
Sure are.
yeah, exactly. And when Jim Cornette was the co-commentator during the NWA Power shows, which you used to watch a couple years back before he got let go, when the Rock and Roll Express won the NWA Tag Team Champions, one of the first people to jump in and congratulate them and jump for joy was Cornette, who's back in the past. You'll remember with his faction, the
Had
Midnight
a large
Express.
feud with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were like each other's throats all the time there.
But that was a team, a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was absolutely. Okay, all right.
Your turn.
Okay, my turn. I think I mentioned Ministry of Darkness here. Ministry of Darkness.
What?
What again?
Are we live still?
No, no. I'm going to record the rest of the show and upload it on my channel there. That's the only way we could do it. I don't know what the heck happened with the internet there. They said there was no internet connection,
Oh
so I
my
have to do
God.
it like that there. I don't know what it was. Said it was streaming no data. Let me see if I can start it up again there. Blah, blah, blah. Give it a couple of minutes here. In the meantime, we would talk about the Ministry of Darkness. Here was the Undertaker wearing this long black cloak, looking like a taller version of the Emperor and his disciples. Edge and Christian. The Gangrel and everybody else there. The Acolytes, which was a later one, would later become, JBL, of course.
You talking about the Brood?
Yep. Well, yes, the Brood, the Acolytes with Ron Simmons and Bradshaw, JBL. Let's see if I could do this again here. Go live once more with no problems. All right. And of course, we got I think it was and keep in mind, I remember this in the WWF magazine at that time, and I didn't agree with this at all here, because when I would never wear these three numbers nowhere on the T-shirt, but there was a patch, Undertaker 666, and that was on for sale on the WWE shopping spot of the magazine there.
Same thing with the House of Black.
Hmm.
The AEW, they did the same thing.
Really? What with the Mark of the Beast on there?
Yeah, they trademark it. They,
Oh
they
wow.
always put them shirts. It's always. I think Aleister Black has a tattoo with that too.
Really?
Not
I'm not
sure.
too sure. I never heard about that one, but I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
okay.
this world is
Yep.
very
Hmm.
living in the
Yeah.
end days. That's all I can say about that, Dr. Earl.
All right. All right.
And I believe it's Prince's turn.
All right.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with a faction that Eddie Guerrero made, and that's LWO, which Rey Mysterio brought back recently with
Yeah.
Santos Escobar, Selena Vega, Raheem Wild,
Mm-hmm.
and Valtasma. Yeah, Valtasma is his
Ah.
name.
And that was obviously reformed to take on the Judgment Day faction, obviously there.
Yeah, yes.
Interesting
But I like
there.
the one with Guerrero from
Mm-hmm.
WCW. I like the original.
In fact,
Listen,
in fact,
let me hold on. Let me just plug that real quick. On our next episode, we will be talking about the great luchador of wrestling.
I'm going to go back a little ways on this one, and this one formed in I believe, the 80s,
mm-hmm.
and they were part of uh, Jerry Jarrett's Continental Wrestling Association,
Uh-huh.
a little group known as the Freedom Fighters,
Ah.
which consisted of a wrestler named Jim Hellwig and another
Uh-huh.
one named Steve Borden.
And we know those guys, what they would later become.
And basically, they came in as good guys and kind of turned into bad guys. Their names in this group were Justice and Flash.
Yeah. And I think those
Then,
two later became the Blade Runners just as well
well,
there.
I was headed that way.
Mm-hmm.
They became the Blade Runners. Hellwig was Rock, not
Mm-hmm.
the Rock, Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And Borden was Sting, which
Uh-huh.
he obviously kept.
Yep.
And they were managed by Hot Stuff Getty Gilbert, if you guys remember him.
Yes, I do. I remember seeing many times at the USWA. Definitely. And he unfortunately is no longer with us just as well there, sadly.
Sting is, but Hellwig's not.
I know. I say he's gone as well. I mean, like, I guess it was. I guess it fits to say that it was good that he finally got patched things up with Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon, because the way they both parted was not that good, if I understand. In fact, I know Warrior had some issues with Hulk Hogan. There was this 1 hour long promo he did on Hogan, calling him out with just everything from being a drug addict to failing his kids, everything you just about name it. Yeah, he did it out. Just look up Warrior calls out Hulk Hogan, and you probably find that video. Definitely check it out if you can, guys.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Okay. Okay. My next faction features Michael P.S. Hayes and the
Oh
late,
boy.
oh yeah, Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts, who are both no longer with us. Of course, we know them as the Fabulous Freebirds. I mean, they would make way. They made waves in the wrestling world in the territory days. They even had a spot in the NWA, taking on members of the Four Horsemen. And they even, I remember Hayes was saying things. We're gonna be up all night drinking whiskey, thinking about how we could take all you guys down. Yep, and they also had their own theme, opening theme music, and as well as a video. Bad Street USA, Bad Street Atlanta, GA.
Yeah, they originally come in with Freebird.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
The Skinner tune.
yeah,
Yep.
and those were the most recognizable three. But there were other people that were part of it, most notably Jimmy Garvin.
Yeah, who is the brother of Ronnie Garvin. I guess so. They had a thing to they were the Freebirds for a while there, just those two there, and of course the other two guys, Gory and Robert, say nope, not so, man, not so. All three of us were the Freebirds. Bottom line.
Gordy, of course, was the enforcer, big guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course later on, when he would later, Michael PSAs would later join the WWF under the new name Doc Hendricks, and they would get him to cut his hair. Of course, when his hair grew out a little bit long, he finally revealed his real name, Michael P.S. Hayes. And they're like, wow, it makes sense now. Because P.S. Hayes had some massive blonde hair. That's for sure.
That he did.
Mm-hmm, yes.
They had an absolutely fabulous feud with Von Erichs in WCCW
Oh, yeah, man. Who cannot forget
for
those
years.
days? Yes. That's true there. All right, so I believe it's now Prince's turn, I guess?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm, all right.
Another great faction that had the Nature Boy in it, and so sad to say they're kind of still around, and that's Evolution with Triple H, Batista, Randy, and Ric Flair.
All right.
Evolution was a tag team. They went against another great faction with the Shield with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose,
Yep.
aka John Mox.
Yep. Yeah, that was without Ric Flair, by the way. Ric Flair, I guess, so at this point had just about retired, from the whole wrestling business there. He came out there to say hi to both the Shield and to his boys in Evolution there.
There's nothing like the
Mm-hmm.
Shield, and I do miss the Shield because that faction was a bad man of
Badass.
gem. That
Yeah,
was a
it's
good
true there.
faction.
Yeah, I know.
By the
Well,
wardrobe they had, the entrance, that was one badass group, man.
yeah, it was. Yeah. And of course, so
Very
sadly,
highly entertaining group.
yes. And sadly, unfortunately, Dean Ambrose, now known as John Moxley, is active in AEW, and we're leaving just Reigns and Rollins to do their thing individually there. It's kind of fits to say that Seth Rollins has now adapted this Joker-like persona with the crazy laugh that he has. In fact, there was a promo for WrestleMania, whereas Rollins was dressed in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker with the red suit and everything. All of a sudden, his wife Becky Lynch grabs him, talking like Batman. He often talks at times, but she's without the mask. But she's in sort of a black caped outfit there. They talk about WrestleMania here and there, and that's pretty much about it.
He's just the man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And by the way, never mind. I'll wait till the other turn. I'll wait till it's my turn again. I guess it's Ark's turn now.
Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Road Warriors?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Evolution. Oh
Oh man. Well, that was it. Well, let's not forget they was the Road Warriors in NWA and other wrestling organizations. But in the WWF, WWE, there was known as the Legion of Doom. They decided to call it that. It was Hawk.
That song, man, that would stick for me. It would stick with me for the rest of my whole grown up childhood life. I mean, that I will never forget hearing Monday Night War,
Hmm.
and seeing those guys come out, and you just hear, what a rush.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's never going to get old.
that's true there. I remember when they was involved with the NWA, the song Iron Man by Black Sabbath would be their theme music there. And like one time they came in and they disrupted a match between members of the Four Horsemen and a couple other wrestlers there. And I
Yeah.
guess originally was they were brought in by Dusty Rhodes to help take down the Horsemen down. Of course, the Hawk and Animal are no longer with us, and I think Precious Paul is still with us. I think he's the only one from the LOD to be around there.
Yeah.
Original. There were other great guys in the group for
Yeah,
a while too.
There was also Draws, and there was a strange story behind how
Well,
he got in there. I
Hawk
get,
and Animal both passed. They're gone. They
yeah,
both passed. Right.
I know. Yes, exactly.
It's really sad. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they were like badasses to the core. I mean, like when I first got a glimpse of him in one of the wrestling magazines as a young teenager, it's like, holy cow, wow, dude. I would like to meet these cats in the dark alley.
Not even a lighted one.
Exactly, yeah. All right there.
At least in a dark alley, you wouldn't see them.
Yeah, either way, you end up with your ass beat no matter what.
Absolutely.
Yeah, true there. Okay, so so it's my turn now, I guess.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, there. Okay, I'm going to mention this short faction. It was all for women. And one of them was, of course, Charlotte Flair, the daughter of Ric Flair. The
Oh,
Four Horsewomen. It was her, Becky Lynch, Bailey, and Sasha Banks. I guess they're involved in the NXT brand for a while there. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. There was another four horsewomen involved in the MMA for a while. Ronda Rousey, Jaslyn Duke, Shayna Baszler, and Maria Schiffer. Now, it would have been nice to see possibly Rousey and Charlotte Flair become a unit, but it would be nice to have Tessa Blanchard, the daughter of Tully Blanchard, along for the ride as well, and whoever else to see if maybe the Andersons, Ole, Jean, Arn, had any daughters who were active in the pro wrestling industry be a part of it as well. But chances are we'll probably never see Tessa Blanchard ever again because of her actions in and outside of the ring there. She's been blacklisted for sure, man.
mm.
Which is a shame because she is a awfully great talent for what I heard there. But when you're a great talent, you got to also be great working wise just as well there. And I guess she did some upsetting things that got her in that level that she's in now, unfortunately. All right?
Okay.
Okay, and I guess it's now Prince's turn.
I'm gonna go with a tag team that to me were on the Indies, and they were on Ring of Honor, and they were in AEW, and they were all over the indie scenes. I'm gonna go with the Briscoe brothers.
Mm,
Unfortunately, Jay Briscoe has passed away, so I'm gonna give a moment of silence to that real quick.
yeah, sure there. Yeah, Jerry Briscoe. And what about and Jack Briscoe? Is he still around?
Yeah, his brother's still around. He's still
Oh,
in AEW.
that's good there. Because I
I
remember they were involved. I guess he was one of the considered Mr. McMahon's henchmen for a while there, along with Pat Patterson.
mhm.
Yeah.
I can't believe he passed away though. You
Yeah.
know,
No.
from a car accident. They said,
Wow.
yeah, one of the Briscoe boys, very legendary tag team, man.
Yeah.
Very legendary tag team in these
All right
Briscoe
there.
brothers.
That's true there. Because I guess the new Briscoes that we have now are carrying out the tradition of the original Briscoes, you know. obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, there. So I guess it's now Ark's turn there.
All right, I'm going to mention one that you guys may not know very well.
Hmm.
The Dungeon of Doom, Kevin Sullivan.
Oh wow, along with Jimmy Hart there. They had, I guess, these were the guys that originally had the Giant in their faction. The Giant who
Hmm.
later become the Big Show and later now become his real name, Paul White.
Kamala,
Kamala, oh yeah, the Ugandan Giant. Rest in peace to him.
Zodiac,
Nice. Cool
the
name there.
Butcher,
The Butcher being, of course, Brutus Beefcake, the former Brutus Beefcake, I should see there.
Meng,
Oh yeah, who used to be Haku in the WWF.
Big Big Van Vader.
Oh yeah.
And their express goal was to destroy Hulkamania.
Yep. What's kind of funny is that I remember this when soon after Hulk Hogan joined the NWO and became the bad guy. Kevin Sullivan during the promo said they were trying all these years to get rid of Hulkamania and failed, and Hulk Hogan destroys it himself within 3 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn. And I guess the thing at the time is that enemies were watching each other's backs, friends were watching each other's backs because the NWO was striking everybody.
Yep.
Yep. Including the one backstage part where where Hall and Nash had baseball bats. They were going after Rey Mysterio Jr. As he was known at that time. Arn Anderson, he was holding his arm. I guess had been broken. And believe it or not, somebody outside had actually called the police, and the cop cars and ambulance are showing up for real there. Yeah. Wow. Wild. Right there. And I guess is it my turn now?
Go for it. Go
Oh,
for it.
okay. There was this one short faction I got a member of, but I'm not too sure who the members of it. But I remember it was they were also supposed to take on be the or actually they were the good guys against the Four Horsemen. It was a faction called Dudes with Attitudes, and I remember
Ah! Ah! Ah!
what the
Ah!
what the.
Yo, what's up?
There you are. We
What's
tried.
up, man?
Yeah, there you are.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Nah, I was busy. I was at the mall getting some clothes, shopping.
Okay. I see there.
Clothes.
Oh,
But
nice.
Prince,
He's here.
Prince.
I'm here.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
So I know you already mentioned it,
Hmm.
probably, I believe, but the NWO Black and White
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
was my first memory of professional wrestling when I was 5 years old in 1996.
Yep. The original
Or
four.
so, whenever it came, well, really, what year did they come out?
Well, what they started in 1996, and we mentioned that it was at the
Right.
Bash at the Beach pay-per-view when Hulk Hogan came out and turned to the dark side.
So like 96. I mean, that's all. That's my first memories of wrestling. I was 5 or 6 years old, uh, and I mean, I remember them. Obviously, I remember just
Hmm.
Hello.
Hello, YR, you there,
Hello.
bud? Let's see here. I know something happened with this microphone, but he did mention, the end of, was probably one of the big factions in the 1990s, and
Okay.
he just left again.
think,
Dang.
think it's my turn, right?
Right.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned dudes
Okay.
and attitudes
Okay.
with the late Paul
Um,
Orndorff.
where am I gonna go take this? Where am I taking this? I want to start. Let me see. Another great faction was what is? I can't think of the name of the group. It's on the tip of my head, but I can't think of the name. Oh, The Steiner brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Rick and Scott from Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan's own.
So,
There you are.
all right. Um, and then I remember obviously like the bogus stings coming down, and then the real stings coming down from the rafters. Against NWO.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously the Wolfpack.
Yes, I was going
When
to mention
when
that. That was
Sting,
big.
and obviously at the time Sting was my favorite wrestler. I mean, I like the others too, but I like Sting the best. And when he did the red and black face paint,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was fucking pretty cool. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like Dr. Brown,
Yes.
red face paint
Mm.
at the time. You know what I'm saying? He did the
Yeah.
crow gimmick and everything.
Yes.
But like that was pretty damn cool. Like that was, you know what I'm
In
saying?
fact,
Like,
let me add this: the crows thing was cool altogether, because this gave the new. It's a gimmick that he still does to this very day. That's probably was his most recognizable, because here was this anti-hero that was outcasted by the community, the wrestling everybody else for something
Sounds
he
like
didn't
me.
do, and he came back.
Unity.
He come like
Doesn't
Go
that
ahead.
sound like me?
what's up?
That
Yes.
sounds like me.
Mm. So he
I
came.
guess I'm the king of the community.
Prince don't even know about. I don't want to say no, but Prince. You weren't even around for the NWO and all that shit.
But I'm sure he's seen it and heard of it.
And
I
watch
mean, yeah, but
videos of
like
it.
watching it at the time, I mean, it's a whole different. At the time, I thought it was real and stuff, so it's a whole different deal. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, as a kid, you think it's real. Wrestling was real.
There.
You know what I'm saying?
you. All right.
Dr. Brown,
Yes.
as a kid, as Dr. Brown, Prince, and Arknolia, as a child, did you think wrestling was real at a point?
Well, originally I did when I first started watching it with the
See, so
WWF.
imagine that.
Yeah.
Like as a child, especially like heroes, people like heroes and stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
People look up to people's role models, what you see on TV,
Yeah.
and like obviously sports,
Mm-hmm.
real sports, is real, but like wrestling is different because you become one with the character. You can relate to the characters, and you have your
Yes.
favorite characters. And I mean, sports to a degree too, but like wrestling, they do a lot of the talking and all the promos, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole different deal. So like when you think, I mean, it's unexplainable. It's like what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's just something that's really unexplainable unless you've seen it yourself at the
Yeah.
time
Yes.
Well,
We.
and
when I
know it.
was when I was a young one, yeah, I thought wrestling was real, and found out it wasn't. But the thing about wrestling back then is they tried very hard to make it seem real.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do like they do nowadays, and just kind of like, we're just playing.
Yeah. Expose the business that as they put for it. In
I mean,
fact.
like if they had the Attitude Era now, but doing what they're doing and the Attitude Era, would you think it was real now, knowing
I
that
know.
it's
I know a lot of the sensitive people out there, the snowflakes that have
oh
me up in arms over it.
oh oh
What the fuck?
oh
Why are we doing this?
I don't know.
hello ladies,
Yeah. They will have a
bro.
fit
I'm
about
talking
Val
about
Venus.
all
Let's not.
of the all of the
You do
music, all of the
Arnold
music,
impression.
Mm-hmm.
all of the music. That's what he used to do. He used to come out and go hello ladies.
Yep.
And then, like, bro, all of the music,
But that's
every
not what you
wrestler's,
said it. You
every
gotta
wrestler's
change that.
theme. Hello, every wrestler,
Now
And
You gotta
nobody's
say it.
talking.
every wrestler's theme music from the Attitude Era. Let's just talk. I mean, because really, realistically, WCW theme music wasn't on the level. I mean, obviously, like NWO's theme was cool.
yep.
Dallas Page's theme, which sounded kind of like
Nirvana.
Nirvana,
Yep, it did. And
right?
Chris Jericho's his theme music was similar to Pearl Jam's Even Flow.
So it's like it's few and far between on WCW's, but WWF Attitude Era theme songs
Yep.
are legendary. are
Yep.
all the ones. I think. I mean, that's one thing you could. I mean, people could say, "Oh, WCW is better than WWF at the time," which the numbers proved that they were beating WWF
You did.
every Monday night. But at the music, I mean, you can even throw out. I mean, obviously, like people like the Godfather. It doesn't have to be the big names. Godfather's music, like all Gold Dust. I mean, the vignette videos, like on the screen on the big Titantron. WCW did not have that shit. They didn't have a Titantron.
Not originally,
I
but
mean,
they did. They did. They had something like that during the later
not originally.
years.
Later on, they did. Like I know, yeah, the later years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
but it
like
wasn't that big as the
compared to WWF.
Titantron.
Hello, can y'all
Hey,
hear me?
loud and clear.
All right. So at WWF, I'm not. I mean, look, I'm not a WWF fanboy. I was first watching WCW first. You know what I'm saying? That was my introduction through WCW, NWO, Sting, all of that. Um, but WWF, like the music, the theme songs, most all of them, pretty. I mean, like the Titantron, that was a whole no. That was pretty cool if you go back and think about it. Like obviously, other companies copied off that through the years, like AEW now and
Hmm.
others. But thank you. Go ahead. Thank you.
Right there. Let's keep them, and also credit to the guy who composed the theme music for the WWF, Mr. Jim Johnston.
Jim Jones, yeah.
What?
Well, Jimmy Hart did some too.
That's true, there. Well, he did. Well, remember, that's right. He did added some to the theme music for WCW and the WWF as well. Him
Dr.
being a
Brown, what's your favorite? What's your favorite theme song? I mean, what's your favorite? Superstar music. What's
have
your
to
favorite
be
song?
you have to be Stone Cold Steve Austin's. I mean, the
Really?
shattering glass and the riffs and the drums was just phenomenal. When you heard that glass
I mean,
shattering,
even in the, obviously at the time, your Road Dog and Billy Gunn, like the Mr. Ass gimmick coming
yep,
out,
yep,
the Mr. Ass song and everything, like your funnier stuff. It was funny. I mean, they really could do all that stuff now, but just take out like the stuff with the women.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you think about it, like
The broad
what was
panties
really,
match.
yeah, like take out all that, anything with the women that you did in the Attitude Era, don't do, but everything else, do exactly what you did in the Attitude Era, and it would be up to the 8 millions again, or 16 millions, or 12 millions, like it used to be. I don't know exactly the number of the ballpark, but right now it's like a million, if that, or something. Like AEW's 200,000 or something. 200. They split the, like uh, it's weird, but it's definitely not comparable. Like AEW is not WCW. You can't compare that
Nope.
to how it's just someone with a lot of money, bought off talent from the main promotion,
Mhm.
and just like the Live Golf, just like the other golf association,
Mhm.
which kind of ruined golf. It's like no one. It's weird how they play it. They just got a TV deal on the CW,
Mhm.
right? Before you had to watch it on YouTube and stuff. And like,
Yep.
who watches golf? Old people, like I mean, there's your younger golf fan base, but mostly your older senior citizens or 60 and above watches golf. Actually, watches it,
I
and they're
mean,
not going to go on. You know what I mean? Like the internet, YouTube. Or if you're into it, like if you're into golf, you want. You know what I mean? It's a thing, but
Yeah.
it, it what the Live Golf did, they bought off all these big names that were, in the last 10 years playing golf on TV and everything. And at first they didn't have a TV deal, but I mean, they're making way more money than they would be making on the regular tour. It's
Mhm.
crazy, but
Yeah.
they do these pairing ups, like these team names. Like it's weird how they play. They wear shorts. There's like loud
Wow.
music playing, like loud music playing, like everyone getting drunk and drinking. It's kind of different.
Kind of
You
like
might
a
have to
Happy Gilmore.
yeah, but it's people don't want to watch that when you watch golf. It's a different kind of sport. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I
So
mean,
it's kind of like horse racing. You know what I
I
mean?
do.
It's all
Or
it's a different
soccer.
level of sophistication. Well, no, it's a different level of sophistication. Soccer's not sophisticated, but
Oh.
it's like Point I'm trying to make here is what Tony Khan is doing is ruining wrestling because WWE can't beat them. The production, like all the vignettes, all the everything, like just how their worldwide reach. You know, you can't beat that. Like obviously, if you're a wrestling fan, you're gonna watch both products, WCW, AEW, and I'm shitting on AEW. I do watch the product, but it's just you could tell it's 2 or 3 steps behind WCW.
Mm.
They go in way smaller venues than WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then they'll do the United Center, you know, CM Punk's thing, and maybe other arenas, maybe like the Forum, LA. I think they did that,
Yep.
and other small things. But like they do way smaller arenas. Like I'm talking when they go to Houston, they go to the University of Houston Cougars,
Mm.
uh, the Fertitta Center, which used to be uh, Hawthorne's Pavilion. It's very small. It's a college basketball arena, very small compared to where WWE goes, which is the professional NBA slash NHL arenas.
Mm.
Multi, like 20,000 plus compared to maybe 5,000, if that, in these college arenas. And I'm not saying AEW goes to all college, you know what I'm saying? So at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I'm going to throw out an AEW tag team,
All right.
if you want to call them a tag team.
All right.
Because one person, I mean, you can technically, I would, because, and it's Sting and Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call them a tag? Would you consider them a tag team?
Pretty much, yes. And when you look at it,
So,
there's.
so obviously we know what they're doing by putting Sting with Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
You
Kind of
know,
like a
put
father
him.
and son deal there.
No one knew who this guy was or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, like your extreme wrestling fans, yes. Compare it. Let's take Judas Priest for example. People know the 3 or 4 regular songs, right? But people
Yep.
like me and Brown and Cronin, I mean, he threw out British Steel, you know, reference before, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe a few people that work with Nikki J over there in the music department, but you know, we know that Judas Priest has tons of bangers. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the extreme wrestling fan, they knew about Darby Allin. They knew he was great, but like your casuals, semi-casuals like me and Brown and others, we didn't know who this guy was because we don't follow these. You know what I'm saying? Like the indie stuff per se. So Darby Allin at first, I was like, you know, maybe like most people, oh, what is he ripping off Sting's thing, blah, 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 blah. But the further they get along, obviously there's some inspiration there. But it was like a younger Sting. It was like a younger, modern Sting with the skateboarding thing, hip,
Mm-hmm.
surfer Sting type gimmick, maybe with the hair, but also mysterious because it's kind of looks like he shots a Hot Topic. He's kind of goth too.
Yes.
But
Hey,
then, like,
Earl, sorry to interrupt. I'm going to be going to the grocery store real quick. I don't want
uh,
you guys to hear all the noise in the background, so I'm going to step out, okay? If that's okay?
Okay, guys.
But I don't want you to hear all the noise in the background of the grocery store. I don't want, to interrupt the show. I'm going to step out.
and I hope
All
you
right.
get shot in the head. Thank
Hey,
you.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong
But
with you?
damn.
I hope they give you. I hope they give you
Oh,
a COVID. I hope they give you a COVID shot in the head. COVID
oh my
vaccine shot.
Dude,
God! What
stop.
You need to take
the?
those.
YR? Don't fuck with
We
me, buddy.
support that.
Don't fuck with
We
me.
support the. We
Let
support
me
the
tell you
vaccine.
something.
We
Let me tell you
support the
something. You're gonna
vaccine.
open up Pandora's
Fucking
box,
faggot
and I'm gonna come
asshole.
after
Fuck
you.
you.
I'm gonna come after
Fuck
you, and you're
you.
not gonna be happy. You're
I
not
will
gonna be happy,
destroy
buddy.
you. Nah, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I
My
know we.
Oh, Earl, it's your boy, because you know what happens every
bad.
time we say that.
No, Brown. Think. I mean, Prince. Think of some '90s stuff, wrestlers. While you're.
Shawn Michaels. There you go.
Oh, all right. Let's dive into him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be right back. I'll be
Now,
right back.
for me, WWF wise, I didn't get into until. I mean, obviously, I'll tell you what I remember. I mean, all the classic stuff like Goldust. I mean, I thought he was pretty cool. Obviously, I remember when Owen Hart passed.
Yep.
Um, but I wasn't at the time. I wasn't keen to his blue blazer gimmick. So I probably at that time I think I was just watching WCW. But
Mm.
I knew The Rock. I mean the heavy stuff. I went to WrestleMania 17 in the Astrodome. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that was all Attitude Era. If you go watch that on the Peacock, it's all Attitude Era.
Yep.
It's like 2001, I think. Um,
Sounds right.
Yeah.
and I mean, that's all. I mean, that was all what was great about it. I mean, now compared, like people say it's the greatest time of wrestling. Now it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like easier to view stuff and easier to get interaction from wrestlers. And now, yes, because of social media. But like back then, like wrestling was better. They were getting way bigger numbers. I don't know how to compare that to like what you see on the computer nowadays. But like, it's way more people into wrestling. Everyone knew who Stone Cold Steve Austin was. I mean, who in WWE now can you really say? I mean, John Cena.
Who doesn't even wrestle anymore?
I know.
I
Yeah.
mean, everyone knows. I think everyone knows who John Cena is to an extent. I don't know
Yep.
if you know
Yeah.
um,
Actor and
Roman, right? Like Roman Reigns, maybe, but definitely like right now, John Cena for sure.
right. And by the
But
way,
everyone knows. You know what I'm saying? But hold on a
yes.
minute. The WWF, Dr. Brown. Would you agree with this? What did you like better, WCW, WWF?
Well, I kind of like both of them in a lot of ways because the WCW had the NWO, they had all the other characters. They also had this other faction, which I should mention, Raven's Flock, featured, of course,
Shebang.
Raven, Hammer, Sick Boy, Kidman, Billy Kidman,
Yeah.
you know. So they
Wasn't
got
Perry Saturn a part of that?
Paris, yes, I believe so, yes. And later on,
Yeah,
Chris Canyon, he was
I
involved
remember
just as
that.
well
I
there,
remember all
yes.
that. The flop.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember all that.
Absolutely. And by the way, going back to the Blue Blazer, believe it or not, the Blue Blazer was Owen Hart's original gimmick before he joined the WWF.
Yo, real quick, Dr. Brown, Dr. Brown.
Yeah,
Let's let's postpone the drama show for a
gotcha.
later date.
All right,
Son,
gotcha.
I
All
gotta
right.
watch the game and hockey and basketball tonight. I want to catch up on some sports.
Okay, I
So,
understand that. We will definitely do it sometime,
but
possibly. Hmm.
Brown and let's just say 1998 was like the greatest time in wrestling.
Yeah, we had the
Both companies
NWO.
were head to head.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Both
Yes.
companies were head to head. So at that time, were you watching it every week, every Monday night?
Well, the thing was, I worked at my restaurant until about
I
11
was.
p.m. Yeah, I was. So I wasn't able to check out any episodes of Raw. I have to go to the other programs to see, witness the highlights
So you never
of
saw
Raw.
that? You never saw it live? You never watched anything live
Not really.
at
The
the
only,
time?
no, not really, fortunately. But
Ah,
but at least I was
Brown, would
able.
you live in the damn chopping off woods in the woods?
No, I was working my job. I was working my job at the
Dr.
restaurant.
Brown.
Yeah, but I was able
Dr.
to
Brown, were you like chopping off woods and stuff? Like, where were you at the time, bro?
working at my
At that
job
time.
at that time. I was working the afternoon job. It was about three
Saying,
to
but
11.
you never had a Monday off.
The only Monday I had off was for my dad's funeral.
This
That
guy.
was about it.
Oh, come on. All right, that's enough.
And
All
plus,
right.
but
Jesus Christ.
but let me speak this. They would show highlights of what happened on Monday Night Raw on other wrestling shows with the WWF, and TNT that broadcasted Monday Night Show would repeat the entire Monday Night show at about 1 p.m. Eastern time, late at night. So it will watch about,
Mayhem.
yes. So I was able to catch more on WCW than I did on the WWF there. And let me continue the thing about the Blue Blazer. When the Blue Blazer came back or during in the Attitude Era, that was actually a punishment for Owen Hart for refusing this angle. See, Vince Russo had written this angle is saying that he was involved with Jeff Jarrett at that time, and he also had Deborah McMichaels, who was just Deborah at that time. And apparently, Russo came up with an idea where Owen has a high school crush on Deborah. But Owen refused it because his wife Martha would not be very happy with that angle there. So Russo said, okay, we'll try something else there. Vince McMahon unfortunately got wind of it, and as a punishment for refusing that angle, he got put back into that blue blazer gimmick. See, one of the big rules in the pro wrestling industry is that when you refuse an angle, you get punished in some sort of oddball way.
Yeah, there was somebody that ended up having to wear a dress. Who
Oh,
was it?
Perry Saturn?
No,
Let's see.
he had a mop as a girlfriend.
Oh yeah, I think it was. I think it may be Ben Perry Saturn in the when he was involved with the WWE at that time there, if I'm correct.
I can't remember the guy's name.
Hmm.
He had for a while a show with Vince Russo on his channel.
Hmm.
I can't remember his name though.
Stevie Richards.
No,
Oh, it was Disco Inferno.
no.
I know it wasn't. Let's see. I'm not sure. It's kind of. I'm trying to remember
It
myself.
wasn't Ben Hameen either. I can't remember who it was, but he had a show he was
Time.
doing.
There you go.
Yeah, he had a show he was doing with his wife. What?
Oh,
That doesn't
Big
matter.
Vito. Big Vito.
Yeah,
Yes, he was
Yeah,
involved
he
with
got
Super Ugly.
Oh, from the Mama Luke's.
yeah, he got punished and had to wear a dress
Hmm.
everywhere.
Wow.
Even
The Mama Luke's.
yeah,
Let's not forget he was involved with the Super Ugly show for a while there. They had the Big
I
Vito
used to
brand
DM that
happening.
guy.
Yep.
Me and him used to DM each other. He was cool, but like, uh, I think he used to work with Vince Russo too.
right.
Yeah. Yes.
But we're gonna have to dive into the 2000s on one of these shows because that was great wrestling too. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie, but let's
Yeah.
keep it in the 90s. In 1999,
Hmm.
My
Did you
next
think-
section. Go
Okay.
ahead.
my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Next action arc.
Okay, it also had my favorite theme song, and that was the Wyatt family.
Oh my
For
goodness.
some reason, I really love that theme song.
Oh, hold on a minute. I thought we were just keeping it in the. I thought we were keeping it in the 90s.
It doesn't matter. No, we're
No, it's factions. Period.
yeah, we're discussing factions, whether it's yesteryear or currently.
All right, I thought we were talking about 90s wrestling. Okay,
Nah.
so
And I went back to the 80s on some of mine.
Or the
the Wyatt
70s.
family. The Wyatt family. Obviously, rest in peace to
Luke Harper.
Bo Hagen. Luke Harper. Luke
Yes.
Rojas.
Yeah, his real name was.
And,
The writers
well,
messed
no,
that
don't
thing
dox,
up.
don't
'Cause
dox, don't dox him or nothing, Brown. But you know, Luke Bohagen, I think you know. But
No, his real name was John Hubbard.
real great. I actually, I mean, looking back at what that was and what it is now, which is they don't have the White family anymore, but you know, just obviously the main character Bray. What everyone thought that was going to be, or maybe what people still think of him, which is this new version or this generation's form of the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Which in a way, you know, not. I mean, with the whole poo poo funhouse thing, the goofy bull crap. At the time, yeah, the first couple things was funny, but like more of a creepy, like clowny type of scary, you
Yep.
know. But he needs to stick to the dark. Like if he sticks to the dark thing, the darkness stuff, you suspend your disbelief. You know, like when you watch a movie, you know it's not real, but you don't go in thinking it's not real because you're not make believing. So,
well, there were some good things going on with Wyatt, and the writers kept screwing him up.
It did, yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what he should have and could have became like champion for a long time, like the Undertaker, like that Impact, you know, which no one can
That
ever
little
have.
that little spider walk thing he did was creepy as hell.
Yeah, that was. And what we all already got that from the spider walk from The Exorcist, the version that was never seen until later on.
Dr. Brown.
And let's not forget the gimmick he had at that time as that Southern cult leader with the psychotic persona along with it. That was amazing just as well there. How many times have we seen that individual portrayed in all these horror movies? Like Children of the Corn, for example.
Yeah.
The leader, Isaac.
But I
Isaac
love
Rojas,
that theme song.
Yeah, it was a good song there. And then
Children of the
walk.
Corn leader, Isaac Rojas.
Mm, right. Okay, it's my turn now. Now we got to mention this faction here. I think of the corporation, featuring
Hmm.
Mr. McMahon, the Mr. McMahon character. His McMahon, his son Shane. Later on they would gather members like Kurt Angle. They would have Ken Shamrock. They would have later on they would also form the corporate ministry with the Ministry of Darkness, combined into one there for a short while there. I mean, the corporation was about, it's corporate profits. I mean, you got to remember at that time, the word corporation was like another C word around the 1990s, you know? Now, the thing was, Vince McMahon he basically tried to restore his image after the Montreal screw job, but nobody was buying what he was saying, even in that thing called, Why Brett Why, that they did at the end of that one Monday Night Raw after the Montreal screw job had occurred, saying Brett screwed Brett. But people were not buying it. They were booing him left and right. So instead of trying to scream about saying, hey, we had to do, McMahon decided, you know what, let's run with it. And that's when the Mr. McMahon character was born. And that lead on to the feud between Stone Cold Steve Austin. And you may remember, McMahon was trying to order Mr. Austin to be like a role model, be like everybody else. So you're a wrestler, you're world champion, you must be a role model. Whereas Austin was like, nope, I'd rather be Stone Cold Steve Austin. To Mr. McMahon's dismay there. All right, so
Okay.
Both Raw, I mean, both WWF and WCW
mhm,
at the time when it was over, like
Yep.
when it was the last match, the last bit, whatever it was, when it
Yep.
was over, you wanted more. Both.
yep,
You
Easy.
can't say the same for the last 10 years of this wrestling we have now.
yeah. And
Maybe a
also,
few episodes, but every time that show on Monday nights was off, you wanted more, or you were wondering
yep,
what was gonna like. It was like so impactful, just like Hollywood show coming in.
yeah. Let's also not forget, going back to corporation, Eric Bischoff tried to become something of that similar mode when he joined the NWO.
Yeah. That started the downfall of the NWO.
Yep, exactly.
Great.
And also may have been the start of the downfall of WCW. Remember, but I think one of the biggest downfalls was the amount of spending that Bischoff was doing. I mean, there was a reason why he was often referred to as ATM Eric.
Yeah. My next faction's one that you may not remember. The York Foundation.
That's a new one.
Well, no, 1990. At any rate, it was Alexandra York
Oh.
who basically managed. She was somebody that basically managed wrestlers and used a computer
Mm.
while she was doing it. The
Oh.
first one she did was Michael Rotunda, which she named Michael Wall Street.
Oh yeah.
She every time she managed somebody, she would change their name to something more formal.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Taylor to Terrence Taylor.
Mm.
Ricky Morton to Richard Morton.
Ah.
Tommy Rich to Thomas Rich. The Big Boss Man to Mr. Hughes.
Ah.
And Alexandra York was Terry Runnels.
Wow. Interesting there. Very interesting. Let's not forget, Mr. Hughes was involved with, I guess, Teddy Long for a while. He was like one of them crooked referees in WCW before he became a manager staple, I guess.
Yeah. And of course, his big thing, I'm having trouble having this thing come up, but at any rate, he was also the bodyguard for Jim Cornette, the Midnight Express.
Hmm. Bubba Rogers,
Yeah,
a.k.a. Big Boss Man, the late Ray Trailer.
right.
Absolutely there.
And the Midnight Express, of course, was interesting because
These are because he was two guys, flamboyant as heck, able to dive off and do all these acrobatics, and we had this nerdy look like Jim Cornette with carrying a tennis racket with him all the time, cutting all these crazy promos. One time referring J.J. Dillon as the poster boy for Alzheimer's disease.
yeah. Well, there was an angle early in I don't remember the Federation but I did watch it,
Mm-hmm.
where Paulie Dangerously came in with the original Midnight Express,
Dennis Conley.
which was where he started with Condrian Rose
Mm-hmm.
and Norvell Austin. He came in there and he was going to run Jimmy Cornette and the Midnight Express out,
Mm-hmm.
which was Eaton and come on,
Eaton, it was Bobby Eaton, rest in peace, and Stan Lane. And the story,
Lane, that was it.
That's it, Stan Lane. Sweet Stan Lane. And the story was that Dennis Condrey, apparently in the storyline, was out of the Midnight Express, and as a revenge, Condrey decided to get back at Cornette and the Express by forming his own version there with Paul E. Dangerously, who later become Paul Heyman, his real name, and later also started ECW, which ran amok throughout the whole 1990s there, until that company's dysfunction.
And they had a feud with, I think the group's name was the Fantastics. They came out to Sharp Dressed Man.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, was also managed by Jim Cornette. And the third tag team he was managing was the Dynamic Dudes, just as well there.
Yeah. What is going on?
I did no clue, dude.
Activation with the deflector shield.
Is someone watching Star Trek or Star Wars?
Code for shield passing. Transmission commencing.
I guess he isn't going to tell us.
All right.
Good old work. Good work. Data's on my chip.
I think it's Star Wars.
Which one?
Can't tell.
I know, it's hard to tell it because the sound goes in and out here and there.
Yeah.
But then again, it's probably it is appropriate since it is May the 4th, being Star Wars Day, so that's why.
Shuffle to Union. Focus your bug on destination.
Well, I guess we better close the show.
Right there.
Danny MT.
Danny MT? What?
Yeah.
Are you adding Danny MT to the program there, Wire?
Get them an iced tea. Get some iced tea, baby.
Your imagination. Come on, let's keep a little optimism.
Keep a little optimism, Brown. Come on, man.
We are. Is Danny MT
Keep
on
that
the call with
optimism.
you?
Keep that optimism, Dr. Brown.
Always do, man. Always do.
Thank you.
Always.
Force be with you.
Yeah, you too, man.
But I cool.
By the way, YR, speaking of Star Wars, who is which villain you could relate to more than you do the hero? I uploaded a video earlier on with that subject in mind.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
He was never a hero. I mean, he
What do
was.
you
Wait a
mean?
minute, he was never a villain. I meant to say. My bad, everybody.
Oh, Darth Vader.
Oh yeah, obviously another one of my favorites as well. There's something about him that would treat the hell out of me. No doubt about that. Later years later, we found out why. Obviously, there. All right, there. I guess this concludes our
Duh,
look. What up?
duh. Hello,
Hello?
Doctor Brown and Arnola, yeah. NYR music show and wrestling show
Mm-hmm.
on the ground and the Patreon, Arnolia's Patreon.
Yes, definitely. Go to our Arknolia's Patreon on patreon.com/Arknolia. Get a lot of episodes where Arky here discuss music, movies, TV, wrestling, sports, and everything else there. Definitely sign up for that, everybody out there listening. Right? So I guess,
Well, I get. Go ahead.
yeah, so you said, Ark, that this concludes our wrestling show for the evening there?
I think so.
I believe so there. So what are we going to do next week there for our show there on Thursdays?
The
90.
luchadors.
Luchadors. Oh yeah, the ones who wear the masks. And we also want to talk about. I want to
Not
bring up.
necessarily.
Not sorry. Okay, there.
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero. All the Latin. Tell you what, let's do a tribute to the Latino wrestlers out there, whether it's Tito Santana, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero Sr. How about that?
Okay.
Sounds good to me there, definitely. And we definitely got to bring in the LWO for Shizzle.
And then Wednesday night we're continuing the 90s, and maybe we'll get to the top 100 of 1991.
Okay, there, definitely, because we didn't get a chance to do that
That's kind of depressing, but hey, what the heck?
But
you
then
know?
again, we had a lot of good conversations on how different the 1990s was from the part from the 80s and 70s there, and how everything just
Right.
switched around, and how it influenced the people today.
Right.
All right, there. So, definitely for YR, Prince Idol, Arknolia, and myself, hey guys, everybody here, enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening there. All right, and we'll see you next week, guys and gals.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.